You may have learned slowly and almost without noticing to make yourself smaller, not invisible, just quieter, less noticeable, easier to overlook. This was rarely a conscious choice. It was often a response to the environment around you. You may have sensed early on that taking up space came with consequences: attention, misinterpretation, expectations you did not ask for and did not want to carry. So you adapted. You learned to speak carefully, to choose your words with precision, to wait before sharing what you really thought. You may have discovered that being quiet felt safer than being fully seen. Quiet became a way of regulating yourself, a way of staying connected without overwhelming others and without overwhelming yourself. But quiet is often misunderstood. Quiet does not mean absent. It does not mean passive. It does not mean that nothing is happening inside. You can take up space without filling every moment with words, without drawing attention, without asserting yourself loudly. Presence has many forms. Some presence is expansive and visible. It enters a room before words are spoken. Other presence is steady and contained. It settles a room rather than filling it. You may belong to the second kind. You may notice that you listen deeply, that you sense shifts in atmosphere, that you respond thoughtfully rather than quickly. These qualities are not lesser. They are simply less rewarded in environments that value visibility, speed, and constant expression. You are allowed to exist without performing your presence. Taking up space quietly means allowing yourself to be here without needing to prove it. You do not need to justify your right to exist by being louder, faster, or more assertive. You do not need to compete for attention. In order to be valid, your presence already has weight. You may have internalized the idea that space must be claimed forcefully, that if you do not speak up, you will disappear. That silence equals irrelevance. But space is not only taken. Sometimes it is held. You hold space when you remain steady, when you listen without trying to fix, when your calm allows others to settle. This kind of presence is subtle. It does not announce itself, but it is felt. You may have been told that you should speak more, assert yourself more, push yourself forward. Sometimes this advice is well-intentioned, but it assumes that louder is better. It is not. There is strength in restraint. There is clarity in choosing when to speak. There is depth in silence that is not empty, but attentive. You are allowed to take up space in your own tone. Quietly does not mean reluctantly. Quietly does not mean apologetically. It means intentionally. You may notice moments when you shrink automatically, when you withhold a thought because it feels inconvenient, when you step back to avoid disrupting the flow of a situation. You can notice that tendency without judging it. It developed for a reason. But you are not required to disappear in order to be considerate. Consideration does not require self-erasure. You can remain quiet and still be fully present. You can be gentle and still be firm. You can be reserved and still be real. Taking up space quietly also means allowing your needs to exist, even when they are not dramatic, even when they are not urgent or easy to explain. You're allowed to need rest, time, distance, without turning those needs into arguments. Your presence does not need decoration. It does not need justification. You may feel uncomfortable when attention turns toward you, not because you have nothing to offer, but because visibility feels intense. This discomfort does not mean you should avoid presence altogether. It means you may need to approach it differently. You are allowed to be present in ways that feel regulating rather than exposing, ways that allow you to remain grounded. You are allowed to choose depth over volume. Some spaces will not recognize a quiet presence immediately. They may overlook it, misinterpret it, assume it means disinterest or distance. That can be painful, but recognition is not the same as value. What you bring does not disappear because it is subtle. It does not lose meaning because it is understated. You do not need to reshape yourself to be more noticeable. You do not need to amplify your presence to justify it. You are already here. Taking up space quietly means trusting that your way of being has substance, even when it does not announce itself. It means allowing yourself to exist without shrinking, even if you remain soft. You may notice that when you stop trying to disappear, something shifts internally. Your body relaxes slightly, your breath deepens, your thoughts move with less tension. This is not because you are becoming someone else. It is because you are no longer holding yourself back. You are allowed to occupy a room without filling it, to contribute when it feels right, to listen without being erased. Quiet presence is not emptiness. It is contained depth. You do not need permission to take up space. You do not need approval. You are allowed to exist in your own volume, quietly, fully, honestly.